You're welcome to News Today. My name is Kemini Nyamani. I'm coming up over the next hour. Poor infrastructure at the Bosomdo DA Primary School hampers effective teaching and learning. Civil society organization Third World Network condemns moves by Acquah to initialing the Economic Partnership Agreement. Also ahead, aid organizations warn the continued exodus of Muslims from the Central African Republic could lead to a catastrophic market collapse. Stay with me, I'll bring you details of these stories and plenty more. Right now, residents of Bosomdo, a farming community in the Shamar district of the Western region, say poor social infrastructure is retarding development of the community. Benjamin Peters reports the community lacks potable water supply, a place of convenience, and a health facility. Right now, poor infrastructure at the Bosomdo DA Primary School in the Shamar district of the Western region is hampering effective teaching and learning. Our Western regional correspondent William Benjamin Peters reports the structure could collapse on the pupils.
Initially, the news team thought it was a canteen or a shed for storing school property, but the children study under this poor structure. About 10 pupils take lessons here in this deplorable structure. According to teachers, they fear it could collapse at any time. The structure is constructed with local materials with no doors, and pupils compete for space in the classroom with animals. Classes are abandoned during rainy days. Classes are combined due to inadequate number of teachers, and the classroom materials like the blackboard tell a gloomy picture of basic education in the community. There are also no accommodation for teachers, and so they trek long distances from Shamar, which is about 25 kilometers away from the school. Majority of the teachers depend on bicycles, resulting in lateness. Some report to school at about 11 a.m., and those who cannot endure the difficulties have refused posting to the school. Meanwhile, the District Assembly, in a bid to improve quality of education in the community, has constructed a new facility for the kindergarten and nursery sections. A teacher of the school, Edmond Kuma, explains the difficulties teachers go through.
It's a major problem here. When it rains, the class has to be disorganized. You have to go and join the other class and all of that. So it's also a problem for us, the structure. And even my board, sometimes you write and then because it is not straight, the words will be, and looking at the children to what they see is what they write. So the board is also a problem. I mean, as you can see, the classroom is a major problem, and accommodation too, and the mode of transportation too is also.
The District Education Director, Esther Bosman-Ama, said a lot of interventions have been put in place in collaboration with the District Assembly to help resolve some of the challenges. The District Chief Executive for Shamar, Enoch Kojuapia, said plans are far advanced for the construction of a new 6-unit classroom block for the community.
Residents of Bosomdo, a farming community in the Shamar district of the Western region, say poor social infrastructure is retarding development of the community. Here's another report by Benjamin Peters.
Bosomdo's 600 population are mostly farmers, majority of whom engage in peasant farming, though a few grow cash crops. Transportation is poor, and the few drivers who opt to ply the dusty road leading to the community charge exorbitant fares or will not cut passengers and luggage to the community. Open defecation is common, and the Pra River, which is sometimes relied on for water sources, is polluted by human feces. The river is not only polluted by human waste. Illegal small-scale miners have discolored the water from the river. One borehole in the community is inadequate for the population. District health authorities are worried of the outbreak of an epidemic and yet are unable to find immediate solutions to the community's challenges. The nearest health facility is a CHIPS compound located at Faumanye and Anglo Beach, about 5 kilometers from Bosomdo. Two major health facilities, the Supum Dunkwa Health Center and the Shama Hospital, are about 25 kilometers away from Bosomdo. Patients who are conveyed to the health facility during emergencies pay between 100 and 200 Ghana cedis. The district chief executive for Shama, Enoch Kojo-Apia, disclosed the assembly is bent on improving basic amenities for the community, but has some challenges with funding.
Members of the Kumbungu District Assembly in the Northern Region Monday afternoon rejected the president's nominee of Alhaji Idi Manza Mahama as district chief executive for the area after he failed to make the 2/3 majority.
Alhaji Idi Manza Mahama, who was a former district chief executive for Tolong Kumbungu, now separate districts, polled 20 votes short of 4 to gain 2/3 for confirmation. By the results, however, he has a second chance in 10 days to convince the assembly members to give him approval. Prior to the elections, the Northern Regional Minister Bade Siding pleaded with the assembly members to endorse the president's nominee to facilitate development in the area. Soon after the results were declared, irate supporters of Alhaji Idi Manza were seen grumbling and calling for the heads of the assembly members, and some opinion leaders claiming they had disappointed them. Some were also seen issuing threats to the assembly members, saying they must refund monies they took after failing to clinch their part of the deal. Apparently fearing for their lives, most of the assembly members and opinion leaders were seen whisked away by armed security personnel who were at the scene to avert problems. It was already anticipated that assembly members might not confirm Alhaji Idi Manza following a strong warning given them by the NDC youth and some opinion leaders in the district.
Now, when was the last time you enjoyed a bar of chocolate by yourself or with a friend? Friday, February 14 is National Chocolate Day, and another perfect opportunity for you to share some chocolate with that special one. But where are you planning on getting your chocolate for the season? By the roadside or from a shop?
Chocolate, a mouth-watering delicacy, is a confectionery enjoyed by many people the world over. Its aroma and taste is often associated with love, and so it comes as no surprise that in February, a month dedicated to love, and on Valentine's Day, chocolate reigns supreme, especially in this part of our world. Although health experts have pointed out several benefits of eating chocolates, such as a reduction in cholesterol levels, eating chocolates which have not been properly stored or have expired can pose serious threats to the health of consumers. During our drive through parts of Accra, we saw a group of young men and women hawking chocolates in the open sun, a dangerous phenomenon gaining grounds in the capital. Their modus operandi is to wait for traffic to build up. Then they move from one vehicle to another to hawk their wares. But health experts say chocolates should be sold at a temperature of not more than 10 degrees Celsius, should have low humidity, be out of direct sunlight, and also away from foods with strong odors. One therefore wonders, how safe are the chocolates sold in the open sun? I tried approaching the hawkers, but they bolted once they saw my camera. Still curious, I managed to purchase a bar of chocolate from one of the hawkers on the streets. It looked and tasted fresh, but I could not get the nagging question of how safe it is out of my head. So I asked some people I met where they prefer to buy chocolates.
Charlie, what I would take roadside chocolate to do from the shop is the same product from the street But if you want to make your Valentine to be rich more, you have to sit in a very good place, then take care of your chocolate.
I prefer from the shop because it's okay there if I buy it and it's very secured.
I think I would like to buy at the roadside because there I can see my fellow guys enjoying themselves. There I will join them.
With the National Chocolate Day barely a week away, perhaps you might want to consider where you would buy your delicious chocolate for the occasion. Hope you make a wise decision. Dr. Sankuma, Joynews, Accra.
2 community-based health plan service compounds have been handed over to the Acquah North Health Directorate of the Volta region. The facilities are to improve quality of healthcare delivery and maternal health in the district.
The district chief executive and his entourage from the assembly and the member of parliament for the area visited the CHIPS zones where they commissioned the facilities and handed them over to the health directorate. 2 communities in the district, namely Avevi and Jalele, benefited from the community-based health planning service compounds, CHIPS, and were provided with weighing sheds. The Avega and Wata communities, also in the district, received 900 bags of cement from the Member of Parliament, Peter Nochu Koto, for the construction of 2 more CHIPS compounds in their respective communities. Apart from improving general health care, the district chief executive, James Gunu, said more plans are being engineered across various communities towards reaching the assembly's target of 0% maternal mortality in the district.
Sure that we increase access to quality health care in the district. And as part of the measures, we have decided to construct weighing shed to the 2 main chip compounds that we have. We have 12 electoral areas in the district, and all these electoral areas now have chip compounds. But there are some other remote areas within the district where we are encouraging the people to initiate their own community projects in the area of chip compound.
A senior staff nurse of the Public Health Unit of the Health Directorate, Doris Asamoah, who represented the Acquah North Director of Health, stated the facilities are mainly to take care of pregnant women as well as treatment of common illnesses. She pointed out that the CHIPS zones lack accreditation from the National Health Insurance Authority. Hence, members of the communities who are on the scheme cannot access health care.
It's for treatment. But some of the diseases they can't treat here. Those diseases, they will refer them to the bigger hospitals. But the minor ones, like headache, dressing of wounds, and taking care of the pregnant mothers, those that they can do here, they are always here, ready for them. So they should come to them and utilize the place.
She pleaded with government for NHI's accreditation for community-based health planning service compounds. Members of the beneficiary communities were grateful for the gesture but asked for potable water and good roads to complement the CHIPS compounds. Komla Ado's report for Joy News.
I return in a bit with some more news. You're welcome back. Now, Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association has again raised issues over the delay by government in implementing conversion difference and grade structure of members after their migration onto the single spine salary structure. Chairman of Government and Hospital Pharmacists is here with me in the studio, Stephen Kokwe. And then there is also the past president of the association, Raymond Tete. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here.
Thank you.
Oh, but to my far left is Raymond, and my immediate left is Stephen.
I'm Stephen.
You're Stephen, rather, and
Raymond.
Raymond is the past president, right? So Stephen, let me start with you, since you are still in office. Earlier, you had come up with this conversion difference issue, and there were some promises. What's the latest on it?
In fact, the latest on it is that you recall that last year when we went for
a 2-month strike, the Honorable Minister of Health, under his initiative, actually prompted a cabinet subcommittee, independent subcommittee that was actually instituted to look into the matter. And somewhere around July last year, the recommendations were given, and the presidency actually instructed that those recommendations should be implemented. As we speak now, we have written petition to the Minister of Health, we have written to the National Labour Commission. Yes, still the recommendations which will help resolve most of the issues that we are talking about. The convention difference, the cascading of the restructure, and then the interim market premium. And this has not been resolved. And that has made our members very, very, very frustrated. And I must say that the next couple of weeks that will come, there will be a general meeting, and the decision that will be taken.
Why? Let's first go through some of the issues that had been resolved, the solutions that were they came up with, and they decided to do for you after your 2-month long strike. What were they, those recommendations?
Well, seriously speaking, it was looking at the grade structure, which then the National Labour Commission have even ruled, and Fair Wages and Salary Commission have actually applied for stay of execution, and that has been rejected by the National Labour Commission. They said they have sent it to the appeal, but before that, we also have issues with the law court, and this interim cabinet subcommittee was set up to look at amicably resolving this issue. We were all presented. Fair Wages and Salary Commission were there, we were also there. And so the worst thing is that once presidency have set up a cabinet committee and the recommendation has, and the president has directed the recommendation to be implemented, we expect, if anything at the least, the implementation process will be done so that we could actually put an end to this saga.
Raymond, let me come to you. This is like something new where public health workers are owed some money. Why does it seem as though even the recommendations are not being implemented?
It's very sad, because in any salary policy, when implementation is done and there are follow-ups or there are problems, there's an appellate body that seeks to it. So even if appellate bodies have worked out solutions and the state institution is refusing to implement, then it's like nobody cares. And it's sad that for 3 years, we don't understand what is going on. You see, and we, the leadership, keep promising our membership, and you can't do that, because their circumstances is worse off than 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the salaries they are receiving now was what they were receiving 3 years ago, or even less. And the cost of living has tripled. You know what is going on. So it's sad. We just don't understand. And to think that it is an institution that has been set up to be fair, we are at a loss. National Labour Commission rules, they throw the ruling away.
Let's try and find some answers. Acquah is PRO for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. He's over the telephone. Hello, Hello, Well, I think I have lost Acquah over there, but hopefully when we get him over the telephone, we'll find some answers as to why the recommendations of the Parliamentary Subcommittee, which has gained approval from the President, those recommendations have not been adhered to. But Stephen Kokwe, who is the chairman of the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association, is still here with me. Stephen, so this your press conference you hope to have. What will be the way forward that you have decided?
The way forward is that members will decide what the next line of action, and I'm anticipating that it will even be worse than the strike action that was taken.
We'll go into that, Stephen, as to the words and the line of action. But Acquah is back over the telephone. Acquah is PR for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Hello, El. Hello, El. Too bad El is not over the telephone. But take us through it again. Exactly what is the next line of action? Would we see you?
You see, as we speak now,
again?
the morale of our members are very down. You're talking about their salaries, which is worse off than they were migrated onto the schemes. When you speak now, they are even deducting certain things from their salaries, which we call the retro debt offset, which is also affecting our members. And that has actually made their work very, very, very worse. And I can imagine how they have been going through all these years. So if we have had a recommendation and the recommendation is not being implemented, what next? National Labour Commission ruled, it was not implemented. The Cabinet Subcommittee has directed from the President, it's not being implemented. So what next? Then the next thing is for us not to go on strike, but to do something else.
I'm curious to know the something else, because
I think
the strike we thought
when it comes,
was...
you will see it.
I see.
Yeah, you will see the heat of it.
I see. So what is old GOSPA members' conversion difference and interim premiums under the single spine pay policy? Is that it? Not salaries. I want us to get the difference of what is owed your members.
What is owed our members is that there is a great structure that was actually set up by the Ministry of Health, and that has to be implemented. And that means that that great structure has to be cascaded according to the National Labour Commission's ruling. And the Cabinet Subcommittee also, in their recommendation, said that that cascading should be effected. The second one was the conversion difference, of course, which our colleague doctors has also the same problem as we have. That is making our pension worse off, because we were better off under the old salary structure. When we were migrated onto the single spine, our pension has gone down. And if the conversion difference is not given us, because that is the difference between your old salary and the SSS that you are in.
Right. So, Raymond, as for the basic salary, government isn't owing you, but the conversion difference and the interim premium, government is owing you. How does that affect you as a GOSPA member, or maybe a hospital pharmacist? How does it affect your work?
You see, the problem in the first place has to do with the basic salary. The basic salary corresponds to a level that you are placed on. Now, this level is not proper for GOSPA members based on the job evaluation exercise that was carried out. So what we are saying is that a neutral body has looked at it and realized that, yes, we've not been treated fairly, and has recommended that has not been implemented. So the basic salary itself has problems. Now, the basic salary has on it a component called market premium. Now, the market premium that was given by the Fair Wages was termed interim, and it is based on an assessment that they did. Okay. Now, what we are saying is that that assessment in itself did not take certain things into consideration properly. These things have been looked at, and a certain interim market premium has been recommended for GOSPA members. That is also not being implemented. On top of this, there is a definition of the conversion difference, which the sub-cabinet committee and then the white paper that accompanied the implementation exercise has clearly defined. And going by that, again, the Fair Wages has not honored what government meant to be done for workers. So in all these three instances, GOSPA members are worse off. You are not on the proper grade structure, so your salary is low. The conversion difference is not being paid appropriately. And then also the market premium has been discriminated, across board. So we have some pharmacists working for government who are getting more, others getting less. And these are the same public offices. And so we don't understand. So it means that our members are going to now start moving towards either, other hospitals where they are going to get more market premium. And that is different when you look at others.
But Stephen, you were telling me that when you were not getting the response after the NLC had ruled after the president backed the parliamentary subcommittee with the recommendations they came up with. You petitioned, but
petitioned the Minister of Health.
Okay, what response did you get from?
Well,
from
he
the
said they are looking into the matter, and very soon they will come out and expedite action on the implementation. And it has taken almost about 3 months since we wrote that letter. And we have also petitioned the National Labour Commission. They are yet to write to us.
I see. And hopefully we believe that they would get back to us so that we don't.
Yes, we all hope so.
We don't face what is about to happen, because you tell me that it will be more than the strike. I'm wondering what could be more than the strike, but hopefully we won't get it. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on News Today. Stephen Cockway is chairman of the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association. He's to my far left, and to my immediate left is Raymond Tete. He's past president of GOSPA. Move on to some other stories, and Joynews' investigation indicates the staff from the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital has met the family of Suwaiba Abdul Mumin on Saturday to make some negotiations on her lost and burnt newborn at the hospital.
The meeting, which lasted close to 30 minutes, could not convince the family to let the matter go, as they insisted the hospital must produce the body of the baby if it truly died. The worker is said to have given different explanation of the incident. According to the worker, the hospital told him the 36-year-old woman knew the baby was dead, but the family insisted Suwaiba never saw the body of the baby, even after asking persistently. Suwaiba said the nurses on one point disclosed the weight of the baby as 4.2 kilograms to the mother and wondered if that was necessary if the baby was truly dead. She told Joy News the nurses on duty asked her about the sex of the baby on 2 different occasions, which gave her enough reason to suspect the baby was not dead. Joy News can also confirm that authorities at the hospital are demanding an official letter from the Ashanti Regional Police Command to release the nurses on duty at the time the woman delivered for interrogation. The police was expected to meet the nurses on Monday for questioning. Meanwhile, the meeting between the regional minister and Suwaiba's family, which was scheduled for Monday on the same matter, could not come off. Suwaiba Abdul Mumin delivered at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital at about 3 a.m. last Tuesday, and after 3 hours, the body of her baby could not be found.
Let's get into some business now. A civil society organization, Third World Network, has condemned moves by ECOWAS to initial the Economic Partnership Agreement and subsequently sign the EPA on February 17. They have called on the Ghanaian government not to be incited by ECOWAS to sign the pact, as it will wipe out jobs in the manufacturing sector and deprive the economy of revenue.
ECOWAS, at a high-level meeting in Senegal last January, agreed to initial the Economic Partnership Agreement of the EU after over 10 years of objecting to the demands of the agreement. They have decided to speed up the process by excluding technical experts and have planned to sign the EPA by February 17 after a ministerial meeting. The pact will give the EU 75% access to ECOWAS markets.
The ECOWAS negotiators, they only arrived at that 75 after they sacrificed our manufacturing sector. So whether you are talking about pharmaceuticals, you are talking about insecticides, you are talking about the light manufacturing sectors in Ghana, they've sacrificed those ones. So they don't need protection according to ECOWAS negotiators. And you know the implication. One, these are the sectors that are very key in terms of any industrial development. You move from light industrial sector to heavy industrialization. And so once you sacrifice these ones, that's the end of your industrialization. If you look at the agreement, we are going to forgo revenue that we control. And so if you look at Ghana, for instance, according to the UN Economic Commission for Africa, we are going to lose the revenue annually over $300 million.
But there are concerns the move might force Ghana to ratify the agreement after initialing the interim EPA in 2007. The Third World Network, however, says government should not be pressurized to sign.
If we want, as a country, simply want to continue to export raw materials. And for the rest of our life, just like the agreement is talking about, it means that we only produce cocoa beans, send it to Europe, you produce bananas, send to Europe, and then import back the finished products. And so the discussion these days in the Ghanaian economy about cedi depreciation, to continue to depreciate today, it won't stop. It doesn't matter how much millions that the Bank of Ghana pumps in the economy.
Well, civil society organizations are raising a lot of critical issues, as you have heard, but the choice still remains for government to sign on to this agreement. The deadline is October this year, and the clock is ticking for government to make a decision. Now, whether signing on to it is good or bad, the choice still is in the hands of government. But what we have been told is that government would not take any decision that would come back to hurt the economy.
News gathered by Joy News indicates the Ghana National Cargo Transport Association Tema branch is on a sit-down strike, and I have Nuruddin Mohammed. He's joined us over the telephone. He's secretary of the Ghana National Cargo Transport Association. Hello, Nuruddin. Thanks for joining us on News Today.
It's a pleasure.
But take us through why you're striking again.
Yeah, we are on a sitting down strike.
What does this mean?
It means concerning the army weight, the airline that they've brought out, we should think of, we should reduce our tonnage. That's why we are complaining that the weight that they're giving is too small. They should adjust it for us to take the 58 tons.
Right, and so being on a sit-down strike, what exactly does that mean for your job?
Yeah, it means it's affecting us. One, in Ghana, their things have been increasing. And now that instead for us to also catch up with the system, we are not losing the market. Now, come to the port, nothing is going on. Even the imported that they have, they are all going away because of the other way. The whole thing started from Uema, and they are saying that we should take 51, and it's fine. We all accepted it. But we are saying that until they started taking the 51, we also joined them. They are taking 68, and we are taking 60. How is this so? Now the people are saying that if we are taking 60, then they will leave, and they are leaving too. They are leaving.
How long are you on the sit-down strike for?
It starts from last today, and it's moving on smoothly. We are not disturbing anybody. People are doing their job, but we, the drivers, are saying we are sitting down strike.
Right, thank you very much, Nuruddin. Nuruddin Mohammed is secretary for the association. Now, tax policy advisor at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Edward Labisian, says government is likely to reintroduce taxes charged on the profits of mining firms after global gold prices go up, although there are arguments the country could be shortchanged following the move to defer the taxes currently. He insists that that will not happen as government is rigorously monitoring and doing several consultations on the matter.
You see, when the oil prices went as high as 1,900, you see, this was an exogenous factor which was not commanded by the mining companies. It was a world situation. So the world movement then was for other countries to take part in the windfall. And there are a lot of literature, and we did a lot of consultation. But somehow, you see, when there's a crisis in the world, everybody takes refuge in gold. But when the economy starts picking up, then gold prices do fall. So the prices fell as low as 1,200. So at that moment, the basis of the windfall I'm not saying might have disappeared. So we said, let's look at it again. And that is where we are. There's enough literature. We had consultation with some experts who came. They spoke to the mining companies. But I want to stress to the mining companies, the government will listen to their protestation and their submissions, and we are not going to act capriciously. If we are all looking at it dispassionately, when there's a windfall in the world, it may trigger.
Barclays has said it increased the total amount it paid on staff bonuses last year. The bank's total bonus pool for 2013 rose by 10% to £2.38 billion from the £2.17 billion recorded in 2012, with the investment bank's bonus pool increasing by 13%. The details come a day after Barclays released its full-year profits figures. The bank's statutory pre-tax profits for 2013 rose to £2.9 billion, while adjusted pre-tax profits fell to £5.2 billion. Barclays said its profits were hit by restructuring the bank last year, including its withdrawal from certain lines of business as well as legal costs. Profits at luxury car maker Jaguar Land Rover more than doubled in the last 3 months of 2013. The UK company made profits of £842 million, up from £404 million for the same quarter in 2012 on revenues of £5.3 billion. JLR's results underpinned profits at its parent India's Tata Motors, which jumped to 48 billion rupees. The JLR Chief Executive Ralph Spence said the West Midlands company's results were a testament to the quality of its cars. General Motors has announced plans to pay boss Mary Barra $14.4 million this year, 60% raise over her predecessor, Dan Atkinson, who was paid $9 million in 2012. General Motors had previously said Ms. Barra would be paid $4.4 million in cash and stock this year, but that figure did not include long-term compensation. The disclosure comes after the firm had been criticized by some for underpaying Ms. Barra for her gender. The compensation is subject to shareholder approval at GM's annual meeting in June. There's more sports after this.
Good afternoon. My name is Baba Tando and I have the latest in the world of sports. Now, Coach Kwesi Appiah, he is a coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars. He says that he's aware of a 23-man squad that will represent Ghana in Brazil in the Black Stars jersey. Now, one player who will be looking to make that list of 23 is right fullback Samuel Inkum, who now plays for Greek Premier League side Platanias. And I have him on phone. And let's see how he's doing in Greece. Hello, Samuel Inkum. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Samuel, how are you doing in Greece?
I think by the grace of God, I think everything is fine. I'm enjoying my life in Greece.
And I see you are getting playtime week in, week out. How is that going for you?
Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying my football. I think I'm happy here. The most important thing that I'm here to play football, and I'm enjoying it. I'm playing every week, and I think for me, I would say I'm in good shape, and that's it.
Samuel, with the game time that you're enjoying at Platanias now, do you think that is a surety for you to make it into Coach Kwesi Appiah's 23-man squad for the team that represent Ghana in Brazil come June?
Yeah, I think I'm here as a footballer. I was born in Ghana, and everybody wants to play the World Cup. This is the most important thing. This is the highest level in football when we are talking about like players going to the World Cup. So I think for me, I'm happy here, enjoying my football. If he calls me, why not? Because I was born in Ghana. I'm ready to serve my motherland. So.
All right. Now, my final question to you. Your next game is against Olympiacos in the Greek Premier League. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is that not too tough for you?
Like what? Is it Olympiacos or the
Yes,
players?
with Olympiacos. Is that game not going to be too difficult for you?
For me or the team?
I mean, for you and your team.
Yeah, I think I want to play So if I want to play football, I've already tested Champions League and World Cup before. I've already enjoyed the highest level when you are talking about football. So I think we need to go there as a team, play as a team, psych ourselves, and I think Olympiacos is just like Britannia. So only that they are topping the group, and they have the quality as well. So we are also going there to show them we have the quality players and we can do it.
Okay, now I said my very final question to you, but then let me just ask this before I let you go. Where do you see Platanias finishing in the Greek league at the end of the season?
I think I'm here to help them to take the place in the league. And I think we have about, like, let's say 12 games or 18 games or 11 games to go. We still have more games. And I think I would just happy to see them in good position before I will leave the club. So I would just do everything I can to help the team to come forward.
Samalinkum, thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Ghana's squad in Brazil in June 2014. Thanks very much for your time.
You are welcome.
Now, we'll still do football, but this time let's go to Qatar, where organizers of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, they have drawn up a workers' charter in an attempt to protect the rights of migrant employees. Now, almost 200 Nepalese men are reported to have died last year working on construction projects in Qatar. The International Trade Union Confederation says up to 4,000 could die by 2022 if current laws persist. Qatar had until 12th of February to inform Football World Governing Body FIFA how it will reform working practices. Now, the new 50-page charter has been developed in conjunction with the International Labour Organization. As well as the 185 deaths last year, it is believed that a significant number of workers in Qatar suffered injuries that were as a result of unsafe working practices. There have also been complaints about the standard of accommodation many workers live in. Now, just before I take leave of you, 3 outstanding match day, 16 games fixed for midweek involving clubs who were involved in CAF interclub competitions have been rescheduled to a later date. Now, according to the Premier League Board, PLB, the first Capital Plus Premier League fixtures involving Asante Kotoko, Brekun Chelsea, Mediama and Ebusua Dwarfs will now be played on February 24. Now, so these are the fixtures for match day 16 on February 24. Asante Kotoko will take on Ebusua Dwarfs. Inter Allies will host Mediama SC at Tema, and then at the Brekun Golden City Park, Chelsea will take on Ashanti Gold. Remember that Kotoko and Chelsea were involved in their preliminary round stage of the CAF Champions League over the weekend, while Mediama and Dwarfs were involved in Confederations Cup action. That will do it for sports for this afternoon. My name is Baba Tando. Sports on Midday Brief is proudly sponsored by Tigo and Cowbell.
I'm glad you could stay on. Let's move into news from elsewhere. Aid organizations have warned that the continued exodus of Muslims from the Central African Republic could lead to a catastrophic market collapse. Oxfam and Action Against Hunger say fewer than 10 wholesalers remain in the capital, Bangui, with many considering leaving the country. They warned staple food supplies could dry up and prices could rise. The UN says some 96% of farmers who are without access to seeds just under a month before the main planting season. Violence is preventing food from getting into the country, with hundreds of food lorries stuck at the border with Cameroon because many drivers fear being attacked by armed groups. With 90% of the population estimated by the UN to eat one meal a day, there are fears the situation could worsen. Violence between the Christian majority and Muslims has torn the country apart since a coup last year. Tens of thousands of Muslims have already fled the country to neighboring Cameroon and Chad. Zambia's Information Minister Mwansa Kapeya says Some opposition leaders want to score cheap political points over whether President Sata traveled abroad for medical treatment. Kapaya says the issue of the president's health should not be used for political reasons. Opposition leaders are demanding to know where President Sata went after government officials said he was going on a 2-week working vacation following a summit in Ethiopia. Zambian media, however, reported that President Sata went to India and subsequently to the UK to seek medical attention before returning home. This prompted the opposition to demand answers about his health condition. Let's do some arts and culture. And every Val's Day, lovers across the world give presents and expect to receive one. But the big question for most people as the day approaches is what is most appropriate to give? Well, even if you know that, you still are plagued with the question of cost. In the following piece, I find some answers. What would you give your Valentine is the question I posed to the following persons, and each of them struggled to give me a response.
At least you can get something nicer. The nicer thing is something that will make your girlfriend or your spouse a bit shocked or surprised, like
something, maybe something I think he doesn't have.
But I'll try not to give a reason for their stance. Clearly, I wasn't satisfied, so I sought more. So I'm here at Legacy Gifts. We'll probably find a few ideas as to what kind of gifts we should give to our loved ones this Valentine. Come with me.
It's in prices, so what you can afford, you add it to it. But for 300 CDs hamper, we add the 9830 to it.
I see.
Yes. 90.
Obviously, this bag is too small for the 300 CDs.
Yes.
I'll just hold on.
Yes, for this. And we add some card.
So these are the 300 CD ideas for a basic hamper. It includes this teddy bear. But what does it matter the kind of gift you give to your partner?
Let's say, for instance, my boyfriend. Yeah, this thing is okay. He'll be grateful. But because this is for men, and everything in here is for men. It's basically for men. So I think for my boyfriend, I'll give that to him.
However, it is not all smooth, especially for the one I love. I think you're really gorgeous, and I want you to be mine. So please make all my dreams come true and say you'll be my Valentine. With love, on Valentine's Day. Except he can't really hear me, but even love is not spared the economic hardship. The vendor here tells me that sales have been slow because of the economic situation. She's hoping that it will pick up in the course of the week before the big red day itself. Kemini, Nyamani, Amano, Joynews, Accra. Our headlines for this are poor infrastructure at the Bosomdo DA Primary School in the Shamar district of the Western region, hampering effective teaching and learning. Civil society organization Third World Network condemns moves by Acquah to initial the Economic Partnership Agreement and subsequently sign the EPA on February 17. Aid organizations warn the continuous exodus of Muslims from the Central African Republic could lead to a catastrophic market collapse. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for staying tuned. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Goodbye.